Hello and welcome back. I've got another mailbag for you. I've got 8 parcels here and let's take a look. Okay, hobby components. Okay, so these are more of the female pin headers, which I'll be needing at some point. But I did order these a little while ago thinking maybe I'd be short for the big back plane on my CPU build, but that wasn't the case, fortunately. Okay, so this is silicone hose. It's good flexible stuff. Depending on what else is in here, I might come back and tell you why I've got this. Okay, so I got 2 meters of this, which was 3 millimeters internal diameter and 5 millimeters external. So it's going to be a wall thickness of 1 millimeter. Right, so this is another kit from Mitch Electronics. This is a dice kit. Now, if you want to learn electronics, I reckon starting off with a few of these kits is actually a pretty good idea. It gives you something to play around with. It's quite a nicely done PCB, this. I presume there's a guide somewhere for the resistor and capacitor values. I'll assemble this at some point, but I'd also like to kind of trace through and see if I can get an understanding of the circuit. I've got reason to feel guilty about this kit. The kit was ordered ages ago and it had gone a couple of weeks past the estimated delivery date, and I contacted the seller about it and he actually refunded me. I didn't expect him to do that. Obviously he doesn't want to treat anyone poorly, but yeah, I'm going to have to work out how to thank him for that. It was most unexpected. Okay, so this says 1x motor. Being extra careful with this knife, I cut myself putting the stickers over the address labels. Only just healed a cut from carving a loaf of bread that I had a plaster on my finger for the last video. Fortunately, I wasn't recording when I did that, or I would have needed a bleep track. I've actually got 2 of these. I believe these are up to 6 volts. It's a nice high gear ratio there. So it's comparatively strong. These actually relate to the tube. What I want to do with these is attempt to make, with my 3D printer, what's called a peristaltic pump. So these are pumps that work by compressing a piece of tubing. So they're very good in that you don't need to worry too much about creating a seal between separate components because you have a piece of tube going through it. And if you imagine a fluid in here and then rolling along like you were squeezing it. Okay, so this was $2.99 for 2. That's extremely cheap. It claims to be a worm gear, but I did get the impression when we were running it that it was spur gear based. I'll have to take one apart. Hang on. There's a picture. Those are definitely spur gears. It's unfortunate. They do tend to be slightly more noisy, but in the quick test then it wasn't going to turn anyone deaf. Okay, one attribute of this I was quite keen on was the gear ratio is very high. I don't know if it's staggered spur gears or a worm gear, but it can't be back driven, so that's totally locked in place. So for the kind of pump I want to make, that's quite a useful attribute. This is my regular 5 volt supply. interested to know what this drains. Okay, so 0.02 amps. So even when I put a bit of tension on this with my fingers, that doesn't go up to very much. It's very low current drain. So I saw that go to 0.03, so at 5 volts, so it's going to be 0.15 watts. These are litmus papers for testing pH. There's a good wide range on those. I actually got these for my project to make some hand sanitizer, and I've managed to get hold of a decent amount of good stuff now, so any thought of making it for my own use, because I can't get hold of any, is a bit silly now, but out of principle I want to finish off working out what to do. Now, I've actually got this for 2 reasons. One is the gelling agent needs a specific range of pH to work properly, but also the final product you want to be in a comfortable range that's not going to irritate your hand at all. Okay, right, these are Peltier pumps. Right, so the Peltier effect is fascinating. If I put a current across these, right, so the back of this is getting hot and the front of this is getting cold. So it actually pumps heat across the surface. Right, so I have 5 of these. I was actually interested in these for a different reason. So not only can they pump heat, but they can also generate a voltage from a heat difference. I don't know how big a heat difference they need. Okay, it's embarrassing. I need to do a bit of dusting. I had my multimeter on the current setting, which is why I didn't get much from it before. Okay, so I'm getting 0.04 volts. I was hoping for a bit more than that. That's between body temperature and this block of ice. Okay, it feels very cold now. Still, it does generate voltage. Okay, so I opened this one unintentionally. I thought it was something else. I actually thought this package was the litmus strips. But this is a selection of Zener diodes. I didn't have any Zener diodes, and I had a experimental circuit that I wanted to make that required one, and so instead of buying just the specific value I need, I found this, which was a selection set of just a few of different values. I thought it would be quite handy for experimental circuits in future. Right, so this is the UV reactive glue I've seen other people use. So you've basically got a glue dispenser at one end, and then you've got this little UV bulb at the other. Now, these things always seem quite dark, but obviously it's only a small fraction of the light that this is emitting that's actually on the visible end of the spectrum. Hopefully most of it is actually in the ultraviolet, where it's going to have an effect on the resin. So there we go. This was £2.55, so it was pretty cheap to give it a try. I quite like the idea of being able to manipulate something and then set it once it's in the right place. Should help me blitz for a few bits of prototyping. Okay, so there's my haul for today. Doesn't look as chunky as some of the previous ones, but I guess everything in this was quite small. But yeah, I hope you found this interesting, and I look forward to making some videos soon where I'm using a few of these parts. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.